Whatever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to, with or upon, I'm doing it in the Cromwell. In fact, I'm doing it in the Cromwell football. This is the special camouflage package brought out to celebrate the recent fiasco of Russia versus England. The KV-1S was the other tank that got the football camo as well. You can purchase that. I purchased it because I'm a fool for anything that goes bling in the night. Little bit of housekeeping. This is a Patreon sponsored post. If you haven't considered sponsoring the channel, please do jump along there and have a look. You can actually help me greatly by giving me the opportunity to continue to make videos day in, day out. A little bit of housekeeping also. This video is a shout out for my good mate, Ben. Ben is turning 9 today, and he recently, a photo was sent in. His old man managed to get him in the Bushka on Blitz t-shirt. Ahoy humans. He is a fantastic little human. Ben, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you got lots of presents, and I hope the Big J looks after you and buys you something commensurate with what a fantastic human being you indeed are. So Ben, hats off to you, mate. You're a little champion. Onwards and upwards though with the Cromwell football. Now, it's a very light tank in both its size and its attributes. It's super quick. It only weighs 28.37 tons, and it has 650 horsepower. So you saw me go up that hill there on mines, no problems whatsoever. In fact, it feels more like a light tank at times than it does a medium. It's got 48 degrees of turret traverse, but it's got a surprisingly low 33 degrees of traverse on its tracks. It does, however, have 10 degrees of gun depression. I'm just getting through all the stats here before I talk about playstyle and things, because I think on paper it's a really excellent tank, and I think it's just an excellent tank all around. There's no juxtaposition. I'm not setting you up for the big cross punch where I tell you it sucks. It's a great tank. It's a really fun tank. Super quick, 64 kilometers an hour. It gets out and around, and it's got that speed that makes you think of a light tank. The only thing it doesn't have like a light tank is that wonderful on-the-move camo. And it doesn't suffer really. It's not as good as the VK2801. Look, let's get that out of the way. And that's its Tier 6 most comparable tank at Tier 6. But the VK does 72 kilometers an hour, and it has better traverse numbers, and its gun is .34 dispersion. But the VK, in my opinion, is the most overpowered tank in the tier by a mile. The Cromwell has a fine gun, 10.53 rounds a minute at 160 alpha and .36 dispersion. 2.3 second aim time is a little bit long. You can't actually get a hold of a V-stab on this tank. You can, in fact, run an enhanced gun lane drive if you want to, but I kicked that off. I just run rations, 2 sets of rations, 1 set of engine fuel, because the gun's fine. I run optics and vents and rammer instead, because the view range on this is 250, and it's got good camo, so if you can get behind a tree and give yourself 275 meters of view range, then you'll spot them before they spot you, and that's a really good thing, particularly in a tier where you will see a lot of light tanks. There are a lot of light tanks in this tier, so view range is really, really important, particularly if they're stock. Even when they're light tanks, you'll still get a bit of love. Now, the sound's gone there. Do not adjust your monitors. For some reason, the sound went on this video when I exported it, but be that as it may. The gun .36, it's fairly accurate, and I don't mind it, the top gun. It's got a lot of different variations on its guns up to the top, but you'll be fairly good with it. It's very nice in a wolf pack with a VK or another light tank. You can see here, even though the numbers say 33 degrees of traverse, you won't see at any point in time in the videos any great struggle to maneuver the tank about. It's very fine, and the gun, very, very good handling. You can certainly get snapshots in. I'm here with Rich Leica MP, and we are wolf packing pretty hard on these tanks here, particularly the poor old Jackson. Look at him. He's tunneling his ass off. There's a Crusader in the bottom I've spotted, and I'm going to go hell for leather in a battle of really light, silly British tanks, and I'm going to smash him and lose half my hit points. But that's what we do when we're playing a Tier 6 tank. Its gun depression is great. Its turret is not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's very flat face, no real gun mantlet, so you'll have to angle it away in between shots, which is tough when you're doing nearly 11 rounds a minute stock, and with rammer and vents and stuff, you're probably looking at closer to 12. So, in fact, you would be doing 12. But it's perfect for doing tracking and perma-tracking, which is grand. A really important part of medium and light tank gameplay. Do not ram big, heavy German tanks in this tank. German mediums are generally the fattest tanks on the field for a medium, so we got away with one there. As you can see here, Rich is in the VK2801, and it is super quick, super nimble, and we are more than capable of keeping up with the VK2801. It's great fun to be in. This was the first medium I ever owned in the British line that I really got to grips with and enjoyed. And there's no mistake about it. It is a real step up from the previous ones, tier 1 through 5, the lights that you'll find, the Crusaders and things, both in terms of mobility, your gun depression, everything like that. It's an absolute cracker. And I was really, really happy when I first got it. One of my first series of videos was running around in this with Aegon. He was in a KV-1S, and I found it to be an excellent spotter back then. We didn't have lights in the game, so I used to run it with binocs or optics and a net, and you did really well in it. And you can still use it very much as a passive spotter. It's not lost that art. It's just no longer the best in its tier and not the most suited in its tier to do that, as I block Rich in his attempt to get back. Everyone's a noob every once in a while. Rich is an excellent VK2801 driver and a pleasure to play with, and he helps me a lot. And I should say thanks to Rich, because he helps me an awful lot in the making of these videos. He gives me a little bit of sanity, and it was just really fortuitous and great that we got to know each other. A lot of the boys in Grump, if you haven't noticed, the clan that we're in, we're all very much of a muchness, you know, older dudes, having a bit of a giggle, trying to make our way in a world dominated by young humans. That's me and Rich here. Now, we're on Temple, and one of the best parts about this tank, obviously, is the speed it gets out there, and you're usually the first tank there. If there's not a VK or something in the game, you're usually going to be the first tank there. 64 kilometers an hour is nothing to be scoffed at, and with the gun depression you get and the mobility backwards and forwards, it's very quick. You can get shots in just about anywhere. You'll especially see in this in a little bit, we miss a few shots, but for the most part, they're not shots that I had trouble getting. They're just shots that I couldn't aim properly with, so I missed them. Rich is pushed up on the right, and I'm going to follow him down. And that Kuro Moro Mini, I think the Kuro Moro Mini is one of the better tanks that I've seen sold, or rather given away in-game. It's a really strong tier 6 heavy, really strong. It's what the Tiger 1 probably should have been all along, and I think if you've got a Kuro Moro Mini, don't sell it like I did, because I'm an idiot. Anyway, onwards and upwards. That KV-1 at the back is a little bit of a problem, and they put up quite a strong bit of resistance here. Rich and I are holding this area back, and that's usually enough to get the job done. I'm moving around the right, obviously, to guard Rich's flank, getting another shot in there on that 3485. 3485 has a lovely 200 alpha, as I'm about to find out, I think. Oh no, there's a VK. VK gets me. Good on him. He played a pretty solid game, that VK actually. We're moving up here. Our Kuro Moro Mini nearly gets me killed at one point by blocking me after I've given the Kuros a big rap. Now, you do have good gun depression, but there are obviously limits to gun depression. 10 degrees is excellent gun depression and acknowledged throughout the game. Most of your good gun depression tanks are going to run around 10. The Comet, the step up from the Cromwell, is 12 degrees, which is insane. You get tanks like the Kinaiotsu, which I believe are 15 degrees, which is just absolutely nuts. And I think the Dika Max is something like 18, which is the most running around. Could be the Dika Max, or is it one of the Lees? I forget. There you can see gun depression working a treat. I'm getting shots down there, I'm just missing them. And that's the key with this tank. You can angle sideways and get gun depressions over your drive wheels, and they're fantastic. This is where the Moro attempts to get me killed by blocking me and just moving forward regardless of who's there. I mean, I should be paying attention. Look at him. He's just pushing up. He won't stop. Finally pulls back, and he's reversed into me to do that. I mean, what a numpty. We're moving around here. Nimble tank, good rate of fire, good DPM. The DPM is very, very comparable for everything else you find at tier 6. You've got a shot every minute on the VK2801. Your penetration numbers are grand, 145 and 202. Again, very, very solid for tier 6. So you're a mobile tank. I mean, there's not much not to like about this. And if you manage to buy the Cromwell football skins, it also looks a bit different, which I think is fantastic. And it's down to 2-on-2 here with Rich and me. But of course, Rich and I double team that poor bugger. And I want to go through here, but of course the carcasses of dead tank negate that ability, which is fair enough. Now, the KV-1S is something you've got to watch out for at this tier. Obviously, the huge, big derp gun of the 1S is an issue for everyone. So we are basically trying to bait shots here and just get him looking at one or the other so that the other tank can then move forward. And this is standard Wolfpack tactics. I'm going to get past his gun very, very comfortably here. Rich tracked him, which is excellent play by Rich in the VK2801. And we're going to roll right forward. Rich tracks him again. God, it's good to have a nice platoon, mate. Well done, Rich. Well done, team. Well done, Cromwell. Happy birthday, Ben. I hope you enjoyed that, mate. Tell Dad to buy you a Cromwell B if it ever comes out. You never know your luck in the big city. Love your work, team. As always, I'm Bushka on Blitz. Hope you enjoyed that review. There is a heap of content coming out at the present. There is official Wargaming content coming out. There's going to be a big review coming out very soon after the release of the patch, which I think everyone is going to want to watch. Bit of a secret one. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be streaming a lot this week. Lots going on. You're all wonderful human beings. Thank you very much for sponsoring the channel. As always, if you do sponsor the channel and you become a patron, you can get access to the official videos that are exclusive and for no one else, and they're behind the sponsors section of bushkaonblitz.com. There is also an exclusive Telegram chat channel, and I'll personally shake your hand if I've ever met you. Onwards and upwards, humans. Love your work. Stay safe on the battlefield.